The galaxy was silent until the voice of Gorthan broke the peace. A deep, cold message was broadcasted from the heart of the Trivec Empire. Every species with a radio, screen, or even old communication tech heard it. We are the Trivec. We have destroyed hundreds of planets. We have burned empires. Now we will crush the humans. Aliens across the galaxy watched the message. Some laughed, some cheered. Most believed Gorthan. After all, he had never lost a war. His fleet was the biggest in the known universe. He had destroyed the Clor Empire in one day. The Zinta warriors? Gone in a week. He was fast, brutal, unstoppable. And now, his next target was Earth. But in a dark, quiet corner of the galaxy, one old alien watched the message without smiling. His name was Varric, a retired general from the old Dorux War. His face was scared, his eyes cold. He turned off the screen and whispered to himself. They have no idea what they're doing. His assistant, a young alien officer, asked, "Sir, aren't you happy? The humans will fall." Varric didn't reply. He just looked out the window at the stars and remembered. Back at Trivec Command, Gorthan stood in front of his war council. A large screen showed a hologram of Earth. "Primitive species," he said. "Small blue planet. Weak. Divided, still using fossil fuels." His generals laughed. But one of them, smart one named Kelran, spoke carefully. "Sir, humans have defeated every invader so far, and we know very little about their real military." Gorthan smiled, a cold, proud smile. "We don't need to know. We only need to strike." He pressed a button. The fleet began to move. Meanwhile, on Earth, news stations were calm. No panic. No emergency broadcasts. But behind the scenes, underground bunkers opened. Satellites turned. Quiet orders were given. General Rachel Vega, head of Earth Defense Command, spoke into her mic. "Begin Operation Silent Sky." Humans didn't shout. They didn't beg. They prepared. Varric's warning. In a secret message, Varric sent a final warning to Gorthan. "Do not underestimate Earth. I fought humans once, long ago. They learn fast. They adapt. And they never forget." But Gorthan deleted the message without reading it. "Old fools fear shadows," he said. First steps of war. The Trivec fleet entered the solar system. Hundreds of dark ships moved like thunderclouds. They didn't attack yet. First, they sent drones to observe. The drones scanned cities, roads, satellites, human defense systems. But then, something strange happened. The drones stopped sending data. One by one, they went silent. No explosions, no alarms, just nothing. Kelran looked at Gorthan. "Sir, all recon drones are offline." Gorthan frowned. "Send scout ships." The scouts' fate. 3 scout ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They flew above a small human city. No movement, no people, no sound, just empty streets. Then, a message appeared on their screens. "You are not welcome here." Before they could respond, their engines failed. Their screens turned black. One ship crashed. The other 2 vanished. No signals, no survivors. Gorthan's rage. The alien warlord slammed his fist on the table. "Enough games. Send a ground unit." A full battalion of Trivec soldiers landed on the surface. They marched through the same empty city. And there, painted in red on a broken wall, they saw the message. "You came to fight. Now learn what fear means." Suddenly, the ground shook. The lights went out. A loud mechanical growl echoed through the streets. End of Part 1, cliffhanger. Somewhere in space, Varric opened a bottle of old Dorux wine. He looked at the stars and said, "It begins." And Earth, still silent. But in that silence was a storm waiting to explode. Smoke rose from the ruins of the Trivec scout ships. The alien soldiers had disappeared. No signals, no distress calls, Only silence. Inside his command ship, Gorthon stared at the empty screens. His face turned from proud to angry. What is this? They are just humans. Kelran, his second-in-command, looked worried. Sir, we expected a weak defense, but this is something else. Gorthon shouted, then let them taste the full power of the Trivak Empire. But Varric, watching secretly from his own ship far away, shook his head. You still don't understand, Gorthon, he whispered. Humans never show their real strength at the beginning. The empty city. The ground unit sent to Earth had landed in a small city named Riverpoint. The streets were quiet. Cars were still parked. Traffic lights blinked red and green. But there were no people, no noise, no signs of life. Captain Zarnok, leader of the Trevak ground force, walked through the streets. He spoke to his soldiers. They must be hiding. Search every building. But inside the buildings they found only strange clues, half-eaten food, TV screens still glowing, and warm coffee cups. It was like the humans had vanished just minutes ago. And then they found it. A room filled with monitors, each one showing live footage of Trevak soldiers walking through the city. Zarnok's eyes widened. They're watching us. The first strike, suddenly the power went out. Darkness. Then a sharp mechanical sound echoed through the city. A whir, a buzz, a click. Zarnok shouted, defensive positions. But it was too late. Hidden turrets rose from rooftops. Walls exploded. Trivak soldiers were hit by fast, silent drones with sharp spinning blades. The humans were not attacking like an army. They were fighting like ghosts. Invisible, precise, deadly. Gorthon's frustration. Back in orbit, Gorthon received a short message. One line. Your soldiers are learning the first lesson. Kelran read it aloud, confused. Who sent this? Then the message deleted itself. The screen flashed red. A virus? No, something worse. Human cyber attack. All systems rebooted. Gorthon's face turned red with rage. They're mocking us. A secret base. Meanwhile, deep inside Earth's mountains, General Rachel Vega watched the battle from her hidden command center. Her face was calm. Phase 1 complete, she said. Let's see how they handle the shadows. An officer asked, Ma'am, why didn't we strike directly? Rachel replied, because humans don't win by being stronger. We win by making our enemy uncertain, scared, alone. Warning from the past. Far away, Varric finally sent a private message to Kelran. It was old and encrypted. The title said, Do not trust what you see on Earth. Kelran opened it in secret. A video played. A battlefield from 72 years ago. A small group of humans surrounded by powerful alien forces. But the humans didn't retreat. They didn't panic. They set fire to the battlefield themselves. They used every weapon, every trick, and even their own bodies to win. Kelran stared at the video, then at the reports of Riverpoint. Sir, he said carefully, maybe we should stop and reevaluate. Gorthon roared. No, we attack now. He ordered a full airstrike. The twist. Hundreds of missiles flew toward Earth. But before they could reach the atmosphere, they stopped. Mid-air. Frozen. Then, slowly, they turned around, heading back toward the Trivak ships. Kelran gasped. They've hacked our weapons. Boom. Half the missiles exploded near the command fleet. Chaos. Ships lost power. Systems crashed. And a message appeared on every Trivak screen. This is Earth. You started this war. Now, you will see how we finish it. Smoke filled the space around Gorthon's flyship. His perfect attack plan was falling apart. His missiles had turned against him. His soldiers were disappearing on Earth. And now something worse was happening. Systems were failing one by one. Lights blinked, screens froze. A message appeared again. You walked into our trap. Gorthan roared in rage. Who dares play games with me? Kelran looked pale. Sir, this is no game. This is war, human style. Inside River Point City, Captain Zarnok's soldiers were trapped. What looked like an easy mission had turned into a nightmare. They had entered the city confident, strong, and fearless. Now only a few were left, and they were running. No sign of humans, only machines. Smart mines, flying drones, invisible lasers, and sudden ambushes. A Trivac soldier's scream as a small black drone grabbed him and flew straight into a wall, exploding on contact. Zarnok shouted, "Fall back, regroup." But even the retreat was blocked. Walls shifted, roads collapsed. The entire city was moving like it was alive. It was never a city. It was a trap. The human mind. In a hidden war room deep underground, General Rachel Vega watched everything. Her face was calm. Behind her, screens showed live feeds of every corner of River Point. One officer smiled. "Ma'am, they walked exactly where we wanted." Rachel nodded. "Humans lose in fair fights. That's why we never fight fair." She gave a new order. "Activate Phantom Protocol." Phantom Protocol, suddenly. Across the city, strange figures appeared. Not soldiers, not machines, but holograms of humans, moving fast, armed, and shouting war cries. The Trivac soldiers panicked. They fired in every direction. But their weapons hit nothing. It was fear, confusion, chaos. Zarnok grabbed his communicator. "We're under attack. We need extraction now." No reply. Their communication system had been cut off. Back on the Trivac flagship, Kelran showed Gorthan the reports. "Sir, we've lost contact with all ground units." Gorthan clenched his fists. "Send more ships. I want that city burned to the ground." Kelran hesitated. "But sir, if this is a trap, Earth might have more defenses waiting." Gorthan shouted, "We are the Trivac Empire. We don't run." But even as he said it, one of his officers screamed, "Sir, our database has been breached. Human code is spreading." A strange sound echoed through the ship, a slow human voice repeating, "You thought we were weak. You thought we were slow. Now you learn the truth." Varek's message. Far away, General Varek watched the madness unfold from his own ship. He opened a secure channel to Kelran, one of the few still working. "Listen to me carefully," he said. "This is how humans win, not by power, but by pressure." Kelran asked, "Can we still stop this?" Varek replied, "If you're lucky, maybe. But first, you need to leave that planet. Escape or destruction." Back on Earth, Zarnok found a small underground tunnel. He and his last 5 soldiers ran into the darkness. But inside, it wasn't dark for long. Lights turned on, and standing at the other end was a human soldier. Not many, just one. A woman, calm, focused, holding a strange weapon. She spoke slowly. "Only one of you leaves." Zarnok stepped forward. "We are warriors of Trivac. You can't stop all of us." The human smiled slightly. "I don't have to." She pressed a button. The floor exploded under them. Darkness. Gorthan's final order. Gorthan, sweating now, gave one last order. "Send every ship. Blast everything. Destroy that city. Now." The Trivac fleet moved into formation. But then hundreds of small objects appeared in space. Not big ships. Tiny ones, silent, fast. Human stealth drones. They flew straight through Trivac defenses. No weapons fired. No alarms. And then, boom. Dozens of Trivac ships exploded from the inside. "Sir," someone screamed. "They were already inside us." Gorthan froze. What are these humans?" Kelrun whispered the only answer he had. Survivors. The Trivek fleet was broken. The city of River Point, once thought to be their next victory, had become a graveyard. The soldiers were gone. The ships were burning. Gorthan stood on the command deck of his flyship, his hands trembling. For the first time, he was uncertain. For the first time, he was afraid. Kelrun, his most trusted officer, appeared beside him. Sir, we've lost over half our fleet. The human drones are everywhere. They're ships. They're like shadows. We can't catch them. Gorthan slammed his fist onto the table. This is impossible. We've crushed worlds, destroyed entire empires, and now we are running from humans? Kelrun hesitated. He was a smart officer, but now he too was lost for answers. Sir, there's something we don't understand. The humans don't just fight with weapons. They fight with everything, and they're winning. The silent strategy. General Rachel Vega watched from Earth. She stood in front of the war room's main screen, her eyes cold and calculating. The Trivek were falling back. They were out of their element, out of control. Her officer approached. Ma'am, they're retreating. We have them cornered. But Rachel wasn't celebrating. She wasn't smiling. No. This is where we stop being hunters and start being the prey. The officer was confused. What do you mean? Rachel looked at the officer with cold, piercing eyes. Humans don't fight like the Trivek. We never have. We fight because we have to. We fight because we survive. And that is what the Trivek still don't understand. Varick's warning. Far in space, Varick's ship floated silently. He had been watching everything unfold. He opened a channel to Kelrun. His voice was calm. You still don't understand, do you? Kelrun, sitting in his damaged flyship, clenched his fists. What do you mean? We're losing. Varick sighed, his voice like a distant memory. You're losing, because the humans have been preparing for you for years. You think they didn't know you would come? You think this was just a random attack? They've seen you coming, and they've been planning, waiting. Kelrun felt his chest tighten. So it's over? Varick chuckled. No, it's just beginning. The hidden weapon. Rachel Vega stood in front of a secret project deep underground. A large metal door opened. Inside was a new human weapon. Not a ship. Not a soldier. It was a machine. But not just any machine. This was the result of years of human innovation. An AI weapon like no other. A ship made entirely of living metal, powered by human will. It could move, think, and change shape in the middle of a battle. It wasn't just designed for destruction. It was designed to adapt, to evolve. They called it Ghost. It was built to be invisible, to trick the enemy into thinking they were fighting against impossible odds. The first test had been a success. Now it would be used for one thing only, to finish the war. The truth revealed. On the Trivek flagship, Kelrun finally understood. Everything the humans had done so far had been a test to see how the Trivek would react, a test to see if they could survive. And now the real war began. The Ghost moved out of Earth's atmosphere. Its black surface shimmered, blending with the stars. No one could track it. And that was exactly how the humans wanted it. Rachel Vega spoke into the comms. Activate Phase 2. Let's end this. The battle that changed everything. The Trivek fleet began to fire again. Massive laser beams lit up space as they attacked Earth's defenses. But the Ghost was already in the heart of the Trivek ships. No one saw it coming. No one even knew it was there. The ship moved like a shadow. It passed through the Trivek fleet undetected. Its weapons were silent but deadly, slicing through the Trivek ships, one by one from the inside out. Gorthan's flagship, the last ship standing, shook violently. What is happening? He screamed. Kelrun watched helplessly as their ships turned to dust. It's the Ghost. They outsmarted us. Gorthan's desperation. In the middle of space, Gorthon stood on his command deck, eyes wild with panic. He didn't want to admit it, but he knew it was true. He was being defeated by humans. "We cannot lose. We will crush them," he screamed. But there was nothing left to destroy. One by one, the Trivec ships fell apart. The ghosts moved faster than their weapons could respond. And then the final blow came. The ghost was now inside Gorthon's flyship. It moved through the ship's core, taking over the power systems. The lights went out. The screens went black. And the engines stopped. Gorthon collapsed into his seat, breathing heavily. It was over. The stars burned bright in the silent void of space. Gorthon's flyship was nothing but space debris now. The Trivec fleet, once a symbol of unstoppable power, lay in ruins. And Earth had won. But the victory came with a heavy cost. General Rachel Vega stood at the front of the war room, staring at the massive screens showing the aftermath of the battle. The Ghost, Earth's secret weapon, had done its job. The Trivec had been defeated, but not without leaving a mark. Humanity had shown the galaxy that they could survive, fight, and outthink their enemies. But Rachel knew the war wasn't truly over. Not yet. The aftermath. In the remains of the Trivec flyship, Gorthon stood alone. His once proud empire was gone. His fleet was crushed. He had underestimated humans, and now he was the last one left. No, he whispered to himself. This cannot be the end. But deep in his heart, Gorthon knew it was. His empire and his strength, everything, had been broken by the humans. He had once believed that they were weak, simple. But he had learned the truth too late. Humans were not weak. They were the galaxy's greatest weapon, and that weapon was still out there. Varric's warning. Varric watched everything unfold from his ship, far away from the destruction. He had been right all along. The humans had never been the ones in danger. It was always the invaders who had underestimated them. His voice was low, thoughtful, as he spoke into his comms. They did it. Earth did it. His assistant, a young officer, stepped forward. "Sir, the Trivec are finished. The humans have won. But they're just one planet, one species." Varric smiled. It was a sad, knowing smile. "You think the Trivec were the last? You think the humans are safe now?" The officer frowned. "What do you mean?" Varric turned to him, his eyes dark. "There's always someone else watching. And believe me, there are more. Much more. A new enemy. Far beyond the Trivec Empire's reach, on the edge of the galaxy, a new fleet gathered. The Zarathians, a race far older and more powerful than the Trivec, watched the events unfold. They had heard the message from Earth. They had seen the power of the Ghost. "The humans are ready," said the Zarathian leader, Calthor. "They are not a threat, yet, but they will be." His generals nodded. "Shall we strike now?" one of them asked. Calthor looked at the stars and then back at his officers. "Not yet. The Trivec made that mistake. We will wait. And when the time comes, we will show Earth what real power looks like." But as Calthor's fleet prepared to move far in the depths of space, another signal was sent. A signal that could change everything. The human advantage back on Earth, General Rachel Vega stood with her team. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. Humanity had just discovered something about themselves, something that changed everything. Rachel watched as the scientists in the lab continued their work on the Ghost. But now they were focused on something else. The next step. One of the scientists, Dr. Elara, turned to Rachel. "General, we've made a breakthrough. We've found traces of alien technology on Earth, hidden for thousands of years. It's not Trivec. It's older." Rachel raised an eyebrow. "Older." Dr. Elara nodded. "Much older, and we've already started to adapt it. This is only the beginning. The real weapons are yet to come." Rachel's heart raced. What was this? What had they discovered? The truth about humanity. The truth was simple. Humans weren't just good at fighting. They were born survivors. But their true strength was not just in their weapons, their technology, or their intelligence. It was in their spirit. Their will to fight when everything seemed lost. Their ability to rise from the ashes. And it was this spirit that had given Earth its greatest weapon, one that no other species could replicate. The humans had learned something in the war with the Trivec, something that no one else had. And now the universe would see what Earth was truly capable of. And to Part 5, final cliffhanger. As Rachel Vega stood there watching the new human technology rise from the ground, her thoughts were interrupted by a strange sound. A beep. A signal. It was coming from deep in space. A message. You think you've won, but you have no idea what's coming. The screen flashed with an unknown alien symbol one never seen before. Rachel felt a cold chill run through her. Prepare for the next phase, she whispered. Earth is just getting started. And in the depths of space, the unknown enemies watched, waiting for their time to strike.